Well, welcome along again. It's been a little while. So the last video that I did was prior to my PSA test, and as I sort of explained, I was extremely sort of anxious and quite nervous about what the results are going to be. And thankfully, they've come back undetectable, which is fantastic news. That aside, I had my first follow up appointment yesterday with supposed to be with the surgeon following a prostatectomy. So for those that have been following my journey so far, there isn't many of you, but those that have been watching it, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just going to drain down yet again. So I've had the most miserable experience, as you probably anybody that's watched any of the previous videos that I've put on about my journey. It's been dreadful, absolutely dreadful, from the start, from my GP surgery through to where I currently am today, following the next day on from my so-called follow-up. So I was expecting to see the surgeon who carried out the prostatectomy. I didn't see the surgeon. I don't know who I saw. It was a female registrar. I don't know. She didn't even introduce herself. I don't even know her name. And I had a ton of questions, as you would expect. You know, all the questions to do with, obviously the surgery went well. I do have positive margins, so I had questions around that. I had questions around other medication that I take for. I have psoriatic arthritis, which I've had for over 20 odd years, so I have to take quite not very nice medicine for that. So I've had to stop all of that prior to my surgery. And here we are, you know, two and a half months later. Been waiting for this appointment. Been really anxious. Been stressed out about, you know, I need to get the answers. And there we go. He wasn't there. So really, really disappointed. Really, really quite upset. Quite emotional about the whole experience. Anyway, but that was the tipping point for me yesterday. I'm just so fed up, so pissed off with the whole journey and just the lack of not urgency, but just the lack of professionalism. It's just been dreadful. So I've just changed my GPs. I've just dropped my forms in for that. They've been very kind, and what would normally take 5 days, I've explained to them my current situation. And the lovely lady behind the desk has actually transferred me over like now. So that was 20 minutes ago. I dropped the form in. So fantastic service from them. Hopefully that will continue. I sent quite a stern email to my consultants, the surgeon's secretary, this morning, and I've literally just had a phone call 10 minutes ago, profusely apologising for the situation. Apparently there was an emergency in the department, and this registrar who I saw yesterday was thrown in at the deep end. So not her fault, and you know, wasn't anti with her yesterday. I was just very, very disappointed with you know, the overall process. So I've got another appointment to go and see and sit with him, not until next Wednesday. So I've got to wait now nearly another week to get further answers. You know, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. I'll get that appointment out of the way. Once I've had that appointment, I'll be moving to a different trust within the northeast. I had the opportunity to do that a couple of months ago, about a month before my surgery, and my GP talked me out of it. I wish I hadn't listened to him now. I wish I had gone to Newcastle and gone to the Freeman Hospital and got the cancer care there. Having chatting to some other fellas at the Maggie's Centre a few weeks back, who are all under the care, and most of them are under care, not all of them, but most of them are under the care of the Newcastle oncology department, and absolutely fantastic treatment from the urology team right way through at Macmillan nurses. My Macmillan nurse is a ghost. Literally, I've spoken to her twice. Once getting my diagnosis, and the second time after having to phone up 4 times to get my diagnosis letter, which again I mentioned in one of the previous videos. I didn't get my diagnosis letter to say I've got prostate cancer until a week after I'd had my surgery. So there we go. So just to let you know, just hopefully anybody else watching this that's going through the journey of the, you know, prostate cancer sort of world and looking to have surgery and stuff, choose your department wisely. Do your research. Look at the overall results of the department that you're going to be getting this operation through, or any of the treatment, and you know, read the reviews. I did read the reviews, and they were really, really borderline, literally borderline. But I think in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, as we all say, I wish I'd have chosen Newcastle in the first place at Freeman Hospital. But there we go. Here we are now. So yeah, so nerve pain is continuing. So again, this is a bit of a downer of a video. I am sorry, but nerve pain is quite a problem. I've just been to see my GP yesterday. They've started me on some I think gabavin, something like that. I don't know. I did read. It's not gabapentin. It's another one. So that's hopefully going to help with the internal nerve pain. Every time I go for a pee, it's like someone sending an electric shock through me, which is quite really uncomfortable. And again, questions I had around that yesterday weren't answered. So again, just more delays. Generally over well. Mental health not great. Still quite sort of down in the dumps with the whole thing. This isn't helping. Recovery is very slow. It's slower than I expected, but it's been exacerbated by all the ongoing problems I'm having with the actual administrative side of things and appointment side of things. So I'm hoping things will sort of turn a corner in the next sort of few weeks. And obviously these new tablets that I'm taking, the side effects from them aren't great, along with everything else I'm taking. I'm rattling at the minute with all the different pills I'm having to take. So yeah, not really much more to say other than that today. I may do another video next week after I've had the surgeon's update, which hopefully will give me the answers that I had around my pathology, around the overall surgery sort of side of things, the ongoing pain management that I'm going to have to look at and deal with. So yeah, so hopefully in the next week I might be able to give you a bit more, a bit of a more upbeat video. But yeah, here we are. So, but yeah, so just just to make sure that everybody that needs to know about prostate cancer, go and have a look on the Prostate Cancer UK's website. Got some great information on there. They've got a risk checker. It's not a given that you'll have prostate cancer if you go through all those questions. It will just probably push you towards going to speak to your GP, requesting a PSA test. But have that conversation with your GP anyway. If you're concerned and you're over the age of 50, they should be offering it to you, but they're not, as a screening sort of process across the UK. Again, there's a big campaign and a petition, which again I think I shared the link in my previous video, so I'll do the same today. It'll be in the comments. The link. Sign a petition, because we're looking for national screening. It needs to happen. 1 in 8 fellas will get prostate cancer at the moment. That's the stats as they stand. Those numbers will go up. Guaranteed they'll go up. If you're black or Asian, your risks are higher. It's 1 in 4. Fact check that, but go and look on the Prostate Cancer UK website. It has all the information there, and it is a great website. The community on there is good as well. If you have any questions, again, if you want to be anonymous, you can go on there and join it. Ask the questions. It's highly moderated by nurses. I haven't come across any disparaging and like not very great sort of advice on there. Anybody on there that's gone through prostate cancer journey, and are sharing their journey like I am. I'm doing mine through video, but those that are doing it on that forum, there's guys on there that have had prostate cancer for years and they're living with prostate cancer. So, it is treatable, which is why it's so important that if you have any symptoms or you have any concerns, you get those tests done to rule it out at an early stage, because you don't want it to be untreatable in the sense that you can't have your prostate removed or other treatment and it's then reactive treatment, which if it goes to particular stages within the cancer sort of side of things, the outlook isn't great. All right, so sooner you get checked out, the better. Thanks very much for watching. My subscriber number is increasing up. It's in the tens now, which is, again, I wasn't doing this for adulation. I wasn't doing this for the likes. I wasn't doing it for look at me, aren't I great? I'm doing it as it's a cathartic journey for me. I can't write things down and then read them back. What I do is I do my videos. I don't rehearse them. I do think about a bit about what I'm going to say at the start, which makes sense. I don't just ramble on. But I do watch them back and I think to myself, yeah, I am going through a shit journey, So, and again, thanks for everybody that's sending me messages and keeping in touch. It is really uplifting and it is really lovely. My family's great support. My neighbours are great support. but also friends that I haven't seen for a long time, drop me messages and stuff like that, daft videos, which is, you know, putting a smile on my face. So yeah, thanks for that. Hopefully that will continue. Please stay in touch if you can. But equally, you know, if you want to put a comment in below about your journey, and happy to sort of, you know, chit chat back, absolutely great. There are some other guys doing the same as what I'm doing, not so many in the UK. More, it seems there's quite a lot in Australia and quite a lot of fellas in America that are, you know, documenting their journey as well, and some, you know, similar sort of journeys. So go and have a look. Go and have a look at them. Have a look at mine. Subscribe if you like. If you don't worry. Not that precious. But if you want to share this, share it with someone that might find it interesting in terms of any sort of concerns that they may have with any prostate cancer, you know, concerns. But again, I'm not a doctor. This is just my personal journey. Go and see your GPs, get checked out. Thanks very much for watching, and I shall come back hopefully with a bit more sort of zinging me step in the next week or so. All right, cheers now. Take it easy. Ta-da.